Oh, yeah. Today we're learning English with two funny clips from the interview with Taylor Swift. And remember, if you want to understand your favorite movies and TV series without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and without subtitles, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell down below to never miss a single new video.
It was beautiful.
The first thing that comes to mind is this difference in pronunciation of the name of the country. Ethan, can you name this country they were talking about?
France.
France. So you would say France, and the host of this show says France because he's from Britain, right?
Okay, so you've just come from France, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
What I also noticed, he didn't say the tag question, haven't you? He didn't say it with the ch sound the way we would say with you, right? But he drops the T here. T is silent, actually. So what we hear is haven't you, right? And do you want to explain what a tag question is?
Yeah, it's something that seemingly is unnecessary, right? You could just take it off and have the question mark. But we sort of do it to add a little bit of extra emphasis. When the initial part of the question is positive, then you need a negative question tag. And if the initial part is negative, then you need a positive question tag. So we could change this, for example, to you've not been to France, have you?
Because it's Fashion Week over there, isn't it? Or it's just
Yeah.
been. Okay, how was that?
And just briefly, fashion show is something what models would do, showing the clothing or a new style.
Walk the catwalk.
Oh, there's another word for that, the catwalk, right?
That's the thin part of the stage that goes out into the audience that the models walk down.
And what the host wants to say here, that it's a fashion week over there, or it's just been. With the present perfect, he wants to say that something just happened recently, yeah? He is just double checking. Is it just being, or is it going right now, right?
That's also British English, because we would use the simple past there. The same way that an American would say, I already had breakfast today, a Brit would say, I've already had breakfast today.
Hey guys, you're doing great job so far, and to make sure you remember all the words and expressions from today's lesson, go to the Real Life English app and search for the deck of flashcards we created for you. There you'll find these same expressions we're defining right here, and you'll be able to learn them and memorize them because you'll be reviewing them using the spaced repetition system, the advanced technology on our app. And among the new features that you'll definitely appreciate are setting daily goals and setting reminders. So with these features, you'll always stay on top of your daily English practice. So don't wait any longer. If you haven't yet downloaded the Real Life English app on your smartphones, go grab the link in the description under this video, or after you finish this lesson, go to your favorite app store and search for Real Life English app. Host by trying to, encourage her and also support her joke if she was joking, yeah? So here he says because they would be there for your show, and then he supports her by saying that, but I suppose that you'd forget. So what does it mean when you are supposing something?
It's the same as assume, to assume something.
And why does he say you'd forget? What does D stands for here?
Right, that's a contraction of would. You'd is you would. So it's saying it's a conditional statement, right? That he hasn't had that experience himself, but hypothetically he can.
Okay, so she is an American. So could you, break down her connected speech here?
Yeah, I'm sure learners are thinking that was just so fast I didn't catch any of it without the subtitles. So she says, I don't know. This is very common that instead of saying I don't know, that we just reduce that to dunno. I don't know. And then there's an American T here that happens because of the T between two vowel sounds between what, and I. So it becomes what I.
I don't know what I thought, or they sleep on clouds or something. I don't know. But
And that also connects to the next word thought. So what I thought. So we actually have two chunks here. I don't know and what.
Like a real one. So the jet lag is that feeling of tiredness when you cross several time zones. So you either feel sleepy or you're not sleepy at all because of this change of time zones. But what does it mean to run off the jet lag?
Yeah, that's a really nice expression that she used there. If you run off something, it means that you are basically running to try to remove that thing. So in the same way that a lot of people might try to run off fat, or they might try to run off a big meal. In this case, she was trying to do some exercise to reduce this feeling of tiredness that the
Her back in Paris. But why does she use here present indefinite? I walk in and there's a model, as if it's happening right now.
We often do this when telling a story to emphasize and really bring the person inside of it as if it were happening in that moment.
It also to make you feel more present in that story, so it was more engaging for you, right? What is treadmill, Ethan?
Yeah, you can't see it, but I have one right here that I sometimes, this desk can go up and down. And so sometimes I put the treadmill so I can walk and work at the same time, since they say that sitting is like the new smoking. Treadmill is this belt basically that's on a machine that goes round and round, so you can walk or you can run on it to exercise, but you don't actually, your body doesn't actually move, right? Like many people might do at the gym. And I really like this, that she's saying that the model is running faster than a racehorse.
Yeah.
Which a racehorse is a horse that runs races, which run incredibly fast, right?
Yeah. It's the same like a race car, but this is a race horse. And I noticed that it's like one word. It's written in as one word, right?
I'd also just point out for people to pay attention to all of the filler words, all the discourse markers she uses. She uses like a lot to explain this. And it's not something that you want to abuse when you speak, but it is a way for you to sound more natural and also to give yourself a little bit of space to think as you're speaking. 80 miles an hour,
definitely.
that is incredibly fast.
That would be top speed.
I think it's maybe 120 kilometers per hour or something like
Something
that.
like that. That's hard to imagine that a model runs like that without a heavy without heavy breathing.
And top speed, that means as fast as a person can go or as fast as a car can go. That's its top speed.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Elliptical, I imagine this is another trainer machine, yeah?
Yeah. It's like a mix between stairs and a treadmill. And she even does the motion here with the arms that people can see. We can show what that machine looks like. And it's elliptical is like a stretched out circle is an ellipsis. And so it's making that sort of motion, elliptical motion.
A little bit of connected speech here in this part. She said that you can see that I hate it. Can you break it down?
And she said it 3 times here. So this is really great for practicing, listening to it and repeating how she said it.
And I
It's like a hilarious situation to imagine.
Yeah. She's a really good storyteller, right? So she describes this Italian guy as incredibly good looking. So what does it mean?
Yeah, that's a phrase we'll use a lot to describe that someone is attractive.
Yeah, incredibly, it means like you can't believe how beautiful he is. By the way, good looking, this word fits for both men and women. But I know when I
True.
was learning English, they used to repeat that, okay, if you're talking about a man, use handsome. If you're talking about a woman, use pretty.
This is even sort of a playful way the language can be used, as if you say that someone's a handsome woman, it can kind of give them more masculine qualities, or if you say that it's a pretty man, it can give them more feminine qualities. So that can happen, but if you made that mistake without meaning to, then maybe for the person they could feel that it's a strange compliment if you call a man pretty or a woman handsome.
Okay, she says, I swear. And again, she uses the present indefinite tense here, and she just wants to intensify like how funny or how weird the situation can be. And she asks them to believe. She asks the host to believe her words, right?
Right. Emphasizing that you're not lying. This really happened, right?
When you are leaning over, what are you doing?
So if you lean, it's people watching, it's like this sort of motion, right? So you can imagine generally treadmills have these 2 bars on the side that you can grab onto, you know, if you lost your balance or something. So you can imagine that both of them are in treadmills. So maybe they're leaning over the bars to come together and to make out.
And that, the next word I wanted to ask you to define, what is making out?
Yeah. So make out, it's kissing. It's a synonym for kissing, but there's different kind of kissing, right? There's a kissing, which is like a peck, we would call it. A peck is what a bird does, but we'll call it this kind of kiss that like your grandmother would give you, right? It's a very quick, dry kiss. And there's what we call French kissing, which is usually when you use tongue. And making out, it generally has more of a sexual intention to it because it's very heavy kissing that two that a couple, that two lovers, that two people that are very into each other would do. And so this adds to the humor, right? Because it's not like they just gave each other a quick kiss, like greeting or something like that. It's like they're heavily kissing while running extremely fast. It's quite the situation.
That's hilarious.
Everyone starts somewhere. We've got a very early gig of Taylor. This Is You. Now, you haven't sold out.
Oh, yeah.
But they've shown up. Do you remember this?
Yeah. This was a big deal for me. I was 14, and it was an event called the Nashville Rubber Duck Race. And it is exactly as it sounds. They would put rubber ducks in the river and see who won.
Wow.
And I was the official entertainment. As you can see, the banner is incredibly high concept. It just says it like it is, you know, like this is her name.
Did you play before the race or after the race?
Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. I think I blocked a lot of this out.
Okay, fair enough. I won't dwell. It might be triggering.
That was the whole crowd. The whole crowd is in the
I can
shop.
see 3 people there.
You know, they do look like fans of rubber duck racing. Everyone starts somewhere. We've got a very early gig of Taylor. This Is You. Now, you haven't sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Usually your first gig wouldn't be as sold out, or you wouldn't sell out. Could you define these words?
Yeah, gig is a job, and usually it has a connotation of being something more artistic. So, for example, a musical gig, or it could be a gig for an artist that gets to show some of their paintings, for example. And like you said, they wouldn't normally be sold out. So if something sells out, it means that all of the tickets are sold. There's none left. Nowadays, you can't just the same day buy a concert ticket for Taylor Swift, right? You would have to buy it maybe months in advance, or you have to pay phenomenal prices to get one a couple weeks before it because they sell out very quickly.
Do you remember this?
Yeah. This was a big deal for me. I was 14, and it was an event called the Nashville Rubber Duck Race.
She was 14 and she says it was a big deal for her.
If something is a big deal, it means it's of great importance. And we'll use it a lot too in the negative to say, oh, it's not a big deal. So for example, let's say I help you to move because you're moving apartments, and you say, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'd say, oh, it's no big deal. Meaning that, it wasn't that important. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, I also think that it's mostly used in this negative form.
You could also say that someone is a big deal. Like nowadays, Taylor
Oh.
Swift is a big deal, meaning that she is someone very important. She's a VIP.
So in the first clip, we had the racehorse. And here she says that the event was the rubber duck racing. Yeah, so rubber ducks are those cute, small, yellow ducks, right? And the race is actually the competition, who gets first.
Do you know if in Kyiv, is there one of these shops that has like 1,000 different types of rubber ducks in different costumes and so on that you can buy? We have one here in Barcelona.
I think I heard about it. We don't have it here, but I saw a couple of them. Yeah, they look really nice.
So it could be good for a race to go to one of those shops.
Oh, okay. We won't be including into the lesson, but I remember there was this very funny situation when the tank was like collapsed or something on the sea or in the ocean, and it was like millions of rubber ducks.
Maybe we could
swimming?
show that if there's like some video of
Really?
it.
I don't remember,
never
but
heard
it
of
was
that.
like that on the news, but it's like a past event, old event. Anyway, there is this
This old
one more
bit
to
is going to
official.
stay in the video anyway.
And it is exactly as it sounds. They would put rubber ducks in the river and see who won.
Wow.
And I was the official entertainment. As you can see, the banner is incredibly high concept.
So I see Taylor Swift likes the word incredibly. In the first clip, we saw her say incredibly good looking. And here she says incredibly high concept. When something is high concept, what does it mean?
Means that it's very abstract or innovative. We have, for example, in entrepreneurship, something called a high concept pitch that you might say it's the Uber of food delivery or something like that. So it's a way to compare a new startup to one that already exists so that people can conceptualize it in their head. You might also say that, for example, someone's art or someone's music is high concept, meaning that it's something that's never been done before. But obviously, Taylor's being sarcastic here, right?
Yeah.
It's a very basic thing that looks like someone made on Microsoft Word.
It just says it like it is, like this is her name.
Did you play before the race or after the race?
Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. I think I blocked a lot of this out.
Okay.
There's an interesting phrasal verb here. When the host asks her about like when did she sing, before or after, she says that like I blocked it out. To block out, what does it mean? Did she faint?
No, it means that either deliberately or unconsciously you tried to forget it, tried to put it out of your mind. So sometimes something traumatic happens to us, and to protect us, like our brain will block it out. But sometimes we might deliberately try to block out something that was very embarrassing that we don't want to remember. We don't want anyone to tell us about or remind us of.
Okay, fair enough. I won't dwell. It might be triggering.
That was the whole crowd. The whole crowd is in the
I can
shop.
see 3 people there.
They do look like fans of rubber duck racing.
I love that at the end. She just takes a drink from her wine.
Yeah, she feels embarrassed, maybe a little bit. And the host says that it may be triggering. So that's exactly what you were saying. It can bring back some bad memories, right? It can
Or especially
trigger
something
those-
traumatic.
He said, I won't dwell. When you dwell, what do you do?
If you dwell on something, you're sort of insistent on it. You won't leave it alone. So he's saying he's not going to dwell. He's going to move on from it quickly.
Okay, so we've learned some really nice phrases and words today, and now it's time for a test. You will watch the clip one more time, this time without subtitles.
We've got a very early gig of Taylor. This is you. Now, you haven't sold out.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much. Do you remember this?
Yeah. This was a big deal for me. I was 14, and it was an event called the Nashville Rubber Duck Race. And it is exactly as it sounds. They would put rubber ducks in the river and see who won.
Wow.
And I was the official entertainment. As you can see, the banner is incredibly high concept. It just says it like it is, like this is her name.
Did you play before the race or after the race?
Oh, you know what? That's a really good question. I think I blocked a lot of this out.
Okay, fair enough. I won't dwell. It might be triggering.
That was the whole crowd. The whole crowd is in the
I can
shop.
see 3 people there.
They do look like fans of rubber duck racing.
So guys, for all the Swifties out there, those are fans of Taylor Swift, you may or may not know that she's a really good storyteller. You could just see that with our first clip. And this is actually what you can learn from her because you can use those techniques or use those expressions when you are telling your personal story.
So there's this line, staring at the ceiling with you. What is that?
I can
Staring
hear
at
the
ceiling.
song in my head already.
Yeah.
Staring at the ceiling with you. It was surprisingly good when I listened to that song. It has that dramatic feel to it.
I admire Taylor Swift as well. Like, I didn't used to like her music so much. She's had such a journey on her career. She started as a country singer and she went into pop, and she's done more recently some more folk, and she's just crossed a lot of different genres during her career, done many different things.